You there! Have you ever wanted to join the Protectorate? Well, today is your lucky day, as we are ensuring that anyone who joins our mission sticks with our creed to the very end of their training, allowing them to graduate. Some of us are followers, some are leaders. Fret not, for the Protectorate holds many different roles for the many styles of living, even if it means that you yourself refuse to harm another by your own hand. Luckily for you, we have a course for students like that. It is a rigorous one with many challenges and trials along the way, but you look like you are up for that challenge. Now then, open your books to Chapter 1.
We open our eyes to... Hold on, I have a graphical glitch on my end. We open our eyes to... Oh, come on, one moment. We open our eyes to a thriving utopia called Future Earth. Well, not Future Earth, just Earth. It is called Future to us as it has futuristic technology. Moving on, we get a pretty flower, see the giant tentacle monster kill literally everyone, get the matter manipulator, and proceed with the tutorial. We jump around, break some blocks, grab a cape, and... well, that's not good. While the planet goes to its inevitable demise, how about we establish what a weapon actually is for the point of this challenge? To put it simply, it means all weapon attacks that directly inflict damage are banned, and all consumable items that are thrown with the ability to inflict damage are also banned. This does not mean that they are blanket banned, however, mainly because I don't want to be at fault for one of these pod-spewing bombs. What is allowed for us is environmental hazards, crew members, NPCs, status effects, and pets. So before you ask, yes, placing lava is allowed because it cannot be used on the story missions and because I said so. And I don't want to fling myself at the same fight 50 times just to slowly chip them down and eventually win anyways. Alright, was that everything? Tutorials were overrated anyways.
In this chapter, we will be covering the most basic of topics, ensuring that our ship gets into a flyable condition.
In the event that you escape a cataclysmic planet-ending catastrophe and are lucky enough to land on a lush planet, then you are in a perfect set of circumstances. Each Tier 1 planet comes equipped with an ancient gateway to seek help and a mine to obtain the resources needed to power said gateway. All you need to do is locate the mine shaft, loot the various boxes, and kill the mother pop-top that stands watch inside. Oh, that's right, you don't like killing stuff yourself. Thankfully, there's two ways to get around this. You can either dump lava on the thing, or you can go mining for the core fragments deep below the planet. I will advise digging for a reason that will be explored in Chapter 3, but for now, just get the core fragments the way that you wish to. Once you have collected a total of 20 core fragments, open the ancient gateway and jump through the portal to the outpost, a location that will serve as a central hub for your many adventures should Earth fall. Travel right to the Ark, talk to Esther, go through a long exposition, talk to Penguin Pete, and get prepared to teleport to the Urkius mining facility. As general advice, try to conserve whatever healing items you may have. It is extremely difficult to get more in your current state, so make every one of them count. Also be sure to avoid the projectile spray from the enemies, as that hurts more than the contact damage. Another good piece of advice is to stick to the upper paths when it splits off into different directions. NPCs can help you, and it is generally a shorter trip, so take these for the best chance of survival. After getting the checkpoint and going down the pit, stay to the very outside of the boss arena when you enter. You can activate the first 2 switches without the boss fight starting, which can help save time. Now for the fight itself. The boss begins with 2 large lasers that spin counterclockwise. Be quick on the switches and the cannon to get the first hit. Immediately upon dealing the first hit, flip the 2 switches on the left. Depending on the amount of healing that you have, you may choose to take a hit from the laser to flip the switches faster, as taking too long to deal damage will have one of the enemies from before spawn. A somewhat similar cycle repeats itself for the third phase, leading to a somewhat easy to achieve victory. Loot the chest, mine the crystal, and teleport back to the outpost to have your FTL drive repaired. After that, talk to Esther, finishing the first step of your journey. To review, loot what you can from the mine, gather some lava and core crystals, make your way to the outpost, explore the Arceus mining facility, and repair your FTL drive. With the world now open to us, let's explore the flora and fauna of various planets in the next chapter.
In this chapter, we will explore the many venues now available for inflicting damage by methods other than our own hand.
To start, I must state that any experience you may have can and will deviate greatly from the training tapes, beginning now. Follow these generalized steps to ensure that you will have an easier time getting through a hypothetical, universe-ending threat. Upon having your ship repaired, you will be tasked with scanning Floran-related objects for clues to where an artifact may be. This will naturally direct you to forests, but do not be afraid to venture into deserts as well. Our first priority is creating an anvil and furnace so that we can make some tungsten-grade armor so that we aren't a wet noodle in terms of durability. But where do we get the ore from if we don't feel like mining? For now, because you have nothing to defend yourself with other than lava, try to stick to the friendly structures, like towns and generally not places that will kill you. It is here that you can find NPCs to buy items, and, more importantly, take quests from. Some of these quests will have you grow crops, which take agonizingly long amounts of time, defeat outlaws, not happening, hunt prey, also not happening, rescue people from various locations, can be worth, and craft and deliver items. It is this last quest type we will look out for. Occasionally, after completing a quest, the NPC will want to join your crew. There can be a variety of classes, so take what you can get. Something is, after all, better than nothing. Sadly though, in the Floran hunting grounds, these allies will only serve as distractions for the many enemies that lurk around every corner. They take too much damage to survive until the end, and even if they do, they'll perish shortly into the boss fight. They will be useful in another regard, though. And we are in the Pop-Top lair. With crew members now in our arsenal, we can chip down the Mother Pop-Top and capture her. Now, she does turn into a regular adult Pop-Top with a little bit less stats, but she is still an extremely powerful monster to catch. Now, you might ask, Mystic, where did you get the capture pods? To which I say, farming the Arceus mining facility quest. You get a lot of iron ingots from it, but more importantly, we get the capture pods and ever-important shields for defending ourselves from attacks. Now on to the main meat of this chapter. The second boss of our hypothetical journey will be Izodune. With this fight, we have a Floran by the name of Nuru to assist us in damaging the boss. Testing our metal. Oh. Well, our nice little pet doesn't seem to be able to actually damage the boss, but at least it can take down the Ixolings. With limited health though, it doesn't last the entire fight. So, we just go and catch some more. Alright, time for the rematch, and they're way less effective than before. Not sure why, but I suppose this is a joke on me for trying to use a swamp of pets to get rid of the Ixolings. Thankfully for us, Naru is capable of fully soloing Ixodum. She is invincible, so all we need to do is just survive. With our shield, we can soak up some of the damage, and potentially all of it if we block with perfect timing. Should worse come to worse though, good old bandage spam never fails. Sometimes fails. Alright, it nearly fails us. Even after the boss falls, the fight isn't over. The horde of Izzlings will serve as one final blockade at the stairs leading out. With some dodging, blocking, and healing, we can get through it though. For our reward, we get the first of many artifacts, some nice chest loot, and a free Naru for our troubles. To review, make armor, scan for clues, recruit crew members, farm the previous mission for various items, capture adult pop-tops, defeat a fearsome foe, and get the artifact. With the basics now laid out, let us explore more in-depth mechanics of what we have available to us in the next chapter.
In this chapter, we will remedy the error we made previously by assuming that the intended gear needed for missions is good enough for us in a world where we cannot harm anything.
With one artifact in hand, it is now time to search for the Hylatl artifact. It is recommended to search ocean planets for structures that hold the clues we need, but there is still the possibility of finding towns and abandoned palaces above the deep blue. First, however, the glaring issue of our combative capabilities is too large to ignore now. The bosses will only become more difficult to take down the further we progress, with them dealing more and more damage to our adult pop-tops. Our main priority is to recruit some new members to have an easier time exploring planets and, of course, expanding our ship. For that, we enlist the help of another mechanic and a blue chemist to temporarily increase our jump height after leaving the ship. Not required, but extremely useful nonetheless. As a side note, I do acknowledge the utility of creating colonies. For us, they can generate income over time, along with giving us the ability to manipulate what tenants move in, so that if recruited, have a much higher chance of being certain classes. I, however, was impatient and didn't care for collecting the specific blocks and furniture needed for that. Either method works, so you can choose whichever one works best for you. With more crew in tow, how about we get some better armor? The better our armor is, the better our pets will be in return, so upgrading ourselves will be vital for dealing damage. Our first stop is risky tier planets like Snowy and Savannah for titanium ore. Creating the bars for it will allow us to upgrade our anvil to tier 2, allowing us to craft insurgent armor, or whatever your race-specific set may be. We also spend the resources to upgrade our spinning wheel to create the fabrics needed for later game armors. Next, while hopping around the planets and collecting the titanium we need, artifact clue scanning becomes a neat byproduct of our efforts, unlocking the Grand Pagoda Library mission for us. We will get to that in a bit, however. With titanium now out of the way, it is important to mention that the EPP and its radiation upgrade are needed to further progress, so make sure to collect the materials needed for it and craft as such. You will need one venom sample, which can be gotten from the enemies on screen now. Another nice piece of prep work to do is to complete 3 tectorials to get the dash, jump, and ball techs. My personal favorites are the blink, multi-jump, and spike ball, but do what works best for you. Now with that out of the way, it is time for radioactive planets like Jungle and Mutated for Durasteel ore, an extremely useful component that is used in a variety of station upgrades and items. Like before, loot towns and dungeons to stock up. After collecting enough, and trust me, it will take a while to get what you need, upgrade the furnace and innovation station to their final tiers and our anvil to its third. With this, you'll be able to craft the pixel compressor to store currency. We will also be able to craft the heating and cooling EPP packs to progress further, but those require scorched cores and cryonic essence, which is a bit more difficult to get in most cases. Thankfully, capitalism comes to the rescue.
Have you ever wanted to hatch a buffalo before?
Fluffalo, while costly, can provide to us a limitless amount of what we need. They require nothing to maintain, so we can just keep them on the ship and they'll keep spitting out resources. All we need to do is wait for them to hatch and grow up. After the aging has finished and the core ready to collect, craft the heating EPP to gain less harmful access to frozen planets, which hold for us Pheolium, Aegisalt, and Ferrosium ore. These can be used to get the next tier of armor. Now comes an interesting choice. Which armor set do we go for? The accelerator table is easy to rule out, as energy consumption is not an issue at all for this run, but the question of health or damage is much more difficult to make. While it seems obvious to take health as we do not benefit from damage, it is important to remember that our pet does. The question becomes one of speed or of endurance. For my run, I chose the separator table so that my pets and I could have increased health, which benefits us both compared to just the damage for the pets. This could be suboptimal, but that is the fun of experimentation. So after collecting enough Pheolium, we can craft the Assassin set of armor and the Cooling EPP, giving us access to Fiery Planets, the final tier of planets available to us. In these wastelands of ash and magma, Solarium ore awaits us for the pinnacle of protection. Finally, on our list of preparation is the Pet Station. With this, we can craft capture pods in the Pet Healing Station, allowing us to access our adult pop-tops for combat once more. And with all of that out of the way, let's finally go get the second artifact. The mission itself is overall pretty bland. There are a lot of sections where you simply just have to wait for stuff to happen, paired with not that many obstacles or enemies otherwise. I suppose this just gets added to the list of lackluster water dungeons in video games. Being very vertical in nature, there are a lot of elevators, but I don't have time for that. I am a member of the Protectorate and I need to seek immediate medical attention. As for the boss, Azra Nox is an annoying piece of garbage. They are invincible for the majority of the attacks, which follow the same set pattern every time. Thankfully for us, they sit nice and still to get wailed upon by our pets without worry of contact damage. It does take quite a bit to chip her down though, but with enough determination we can slog through this. Yeah, so I found out the damage trigger occurs every so often, but you can force it by repeatedly switching out adult pop-tops. This takes care of Azra far more swiftly, which works in my book. Well, okay, boom, we get the Hylotl artifact and then move on to the Avians. Scan for clues and unlock the Great Sovereign Temple. Go there, dodge the traps, and then survive the survival section, and then have your pop-tops all die before winning the fight. Alright, well, double the number of adult pop-tops and then get to work on the Cluex Avatar boss. In the first phase, the boss is grounded and stationary, which makes perfect conditions to either have your crew take it down or for you to wail on it with your adult pop-tops. I prefer the former to conserve HP, but do what you will with that. As for the second phase, the boss becomes airborne and makes it significantly more difficult to rack up damage. During the wind attack, the boss will once again become grounded, giving a window to damage them. They will inflict damage from shockwaves though, so be careful. Now this time, with enough determination, we can get through this slog and defeat the boss, grabbing the third artifact for our cause. To review, get the best armor, get more crew, get more adult pop-tops, get the pet healing station, and get the next two artifacts.
In this chapter, we abandon all previous strategies that were put into place and instead just run into the enemy a lot while telling yourself that everything will be fine as you put on your 40th nano-wrap bandage.
With our next objective set in place, we set out with our sights set on the apex. Something important to know is that you are very unlikely to get all the clues scanned from rebel camps, so exploration into hostile apex locations is likely to occur. After everything is scanned and the compound found, heal up your adult pop-top army and make your way to the next story mission. Beaming in, you'll meet Lana Blake and venture into the underground tunnels of the compound. Threat-wise, it is pretty standard for the most part, with a survival section with more than a dozen drones showing quite a challenge to keep anything other than yourself alive. Once the bar has finished charging, open the front door, talk to Lana, and enter the boss fight against Big Ape. For our army, there is only one time to deal damage, and that is at the charging attack. The problem is, the boss is more likely to deal damage to our pets than we are to deal damage to it. Pair that with needing to destroy the projectors and them all healing each time one is broken, and it is nigh impossible to do with what we have. Even with 40 adult pop-tops, I doubt that it would work. As for projectile-based pets, their aim is terrible when it comes to small moving targets, so having the projectors break could take hours, which I don't even want to risk spending just to fail anyways. So our solution? What could be better than pets and crew in this case? Hello, my fellow entities of the televised programming network. I am Generic Mystic, and welcome to today's cooking show. Today we have a large assortment of dishes to prepare and taste, so let's get right into it to not waste our previously allocated minutes. Our main dishes are desert salsa and coral creep curry. But to firmly grasp how to expertly craft those dishes, we will also need to make stuffed automato, burning eyeballs, automato stew, and wattage potage. For the ingredients used in each of these recipes, be sure to prepare a cool storage system and to keep everything fresh. If you have that, then begin with the following. Coral creep from the depths of the oceans. Wheat, corn, and rice from the luscious of fields. Beak seed, cactus, kiwi, and feather crown from the driest and wettest of deserts. Tomato from the tallest forests. Currant corn from the wildest of savannas. Automato from the coldest of snows. Oculemon from the mutated wonderlands. Chili from the hottest of volcanic lands. Cheese from our sponsor, Infinity Express. And finally, some home-cooked bread. For convenience of replication, home grow as many ingredients as you can. Coral crepe needs to be submerged and cactus needs to be cut down like a tree, but the rest can be tended to with a sprinkler. Begin our magical chefing by combining currant corn and automato to create wattage potage. From there, you can grasp how to make automato stew properly. Just combine the same ingredients from before, but this time with added wheat. After that, you can move on to something more advanced. Combine cheese, bread, corn, and automato for the stuffed automato. This food is good enough on its own, but we want to go one step beyond. For our desert salsa, combine automato, kiwi, feathercorn, currant corn, cactus, and beak seed. This amazing food will grant jump boost and thorns for 383 seconds, so you can hop around and spew thorns out as a defensive mechanism to your heart's content. Now onto our more spicy dishes. Combine a chili and oculemon for the burning eyeballs, which packs quite a punch. Knowing how to handle spicy food now, combine coral creep, rice, tomato, and chili to create coral creep curry. Consuming this amazing food will leave your insides burning for a bit, but in return you will make your outsides burn a bit more and increase your overall health for 225 seconds. Now then, let's have a word from our sponsor before getting back into the cooking with desserts. This show has been brought to you by Infinity Express. An important thing to know about your personal health is that overeating is typically a bad thing. Should you overeat, you will be unable to consume food for another 120 seconds. This makes stacking Nova and Thorns impossible at 100% upkeep, technically. Should you have a devoted avian friend, you may receive a blessing from them that can impact your physical ability. One such blessing is Thorns, which lasts roughly 30 minutes. With this, you can continuously consume Coral Creep Curry to keep the Nova effect, just needing to make sure that you possess the healing necessary to pull off the strategy. It should be noted that while Nova is useful under many situations, bosses won't be caught blazing like you'd wish them to. It was better just to include the recipe now, as it could prove useful exploring various planets and the non-boss portions of missions. As for the fight, Thorns. A lot of Thorns. So many Thorns, in fact, that you lose track of how many times you have shot out Thorns simply because you have shot so much out that the number is hard to keep track of. For the first 3 projectors, this is all you do. For the 4th one, you don't need to worry about trying to focus damage on one in particular, as there's only one left to attack. This means that your Pop-Top army can break it down until the truth is revealed and the artifact is obtained. To review, scan Apex clues, avoid a swarm of drones, cook some salsa, defeat misinformation, and get the artifact.
In this chapter, you will gather strength from those you call allies to triumph over a seemingly impossible situation.
Our next mission is to locate the artifact given to the glitch. This of course means that we will need to search for clues in appropriate locations, taking us to fiery planets. After scanning enough clues, you will unlock the ability to go to the Baron's Keep. I suggest in terms of preparing for this to capture 1 or 2 procedurally generated large flying creatures. They of course can fly, but also have various projectile attacks that can prove useful. Encountering them normally in the upper atmosphere will not yield results, as they are not hostile and as such will not attack you, so you cannot attack them. In various glitched keeps, though, they will be hostile, meaning that you can wail on them with your crew and capture them. Additionally, bring staves. Yes, I know, from an initial glance it seems completely absurd to even suggest using a weapon, but what we seek is the alternate ability of the staves to be a zone effect. These can come as regeneration, energy recovery, low gravity, or repulsion. For us, our best bet is regeneration, as it can heal us, our pets, and our crew. Alternatively, let's say you want to go heavy on damage. Should the Kluic staff drop from the respective boss, its alternate ability is to create a rage zone, which increases damage inflicted by everything inside of it by 20%. This includes your crew, your pets, and enemies. As for the mission, it is a wave-style defend the castle objective, requiring you to fend off hordes of cultists. After the first couple of waves, Naru and Lana will join the battle until the boss fight, giving us a nice resting luxury. Over time, more enemy units will be added to the pools, like ballistas and helicultists, but these can be taken care of. As a warning, if no other enemies are on field except for a ballista, your allies, crew, and pets will not attack the wooden construct. Thankfully, some NPC archers can hit it, allowing us to progress after enough waiting. The Bone Dragon is an unfortunate reminder of the Itchadoom fight. The boss will chase you around, breathing heavily damaging fireballs for us to avoid. This is all while more cultists continually spawn without the help of Lana and Nuru. This all combines together for a complete and utter nightmare for us to take on. Or, well, it would if the archers from before didn't exist. These two miracle workers deal a large amount of damage to whatever they hit, and they are invincible. This means, with proper positioning, they can take down the Bone Dragon while we simply heal and avoid the attacks. You may also send out your flying pet after the dragon targets you so that they can inflict more damage without the risk of being fireballed. When the dragon is dispatched, you may claim the glitch artifact, recruit the Baron, and complete the mission that you were sent out to only moments before. To review, scan glitch clues, catch some large flying creatures, go to the Baron's Keep, drive back the cultists, slay the Bone Dragon, and get the artifact.
In this chapter, you will use everything you have learned to fulfill your duty as a member of the Protectorate.
Upon returning to Esler, she will reveal that the final artifact was in her possession all along, opening up the gateway to the ruin. This will mark the final destination for our run, but there are a few things we can do in preparation. The first and most important step is to capture a plethora of flying creatures. I personally prefer the indescribable horrors, but the pre-generated creatures can work as well. Next up is preparing a way to get the Thorns effect. In addition to Desert Salsa, you can also receive it as a blessing from our avian friend whose name I cannot pronounce, or as an augmentation for our environmental protection pack. Finally, make sure that you are as stocked up on healing as you can be. This fight will likely be a major endurance test, and you want the best chance of succeeding possible. When all is prepared, heal up your pets, gather your crew, and jump in to change destiny. The ruin as a planet is randomly generated each time you enter the mission, so any progress you make to the planet's core will be reverted when you next attempt it. As for actually attempting to traverse the planet, simply dig down and avoid the poison and enemies where possible. Both will cause needless harm to you and should definitely be minimized. Nearing the core of the planet will have Sail comment on your closeness, prompting careful movement from there on out. The gaps between the planet's caves and the core is fairly large, so take care to find a safe way down. You can time one of your multi-jumps, but the game can stutter loading in the core, so be careful if you do that. Alternatively, you can ride a large mound of jelly blob down, giving a slow, but less leg-breaking trip. From there, just go left or right, and further down, enter the first door locks, grab the checkpoint, and enter the second to face the final trial. To begin, we have a rematch with Azra Nox. This time, however, she only does a dash attack followed by morph ball charges. Just like from before, spawn spam with your pets to take her down swiftly. With the appetizer out of the way, the main course takes center stage. The ruin has 5,000 HP, but with our thorns, it doesn't have contact damage. Well, at least our crew members will get obliterated by the eye laser. Hey, we have strong pets that get overwhelmed by the enemies that spawned, getting taken down after enough damage. Are there any bright sides to this ordeal? Well, yes, there are two. The first is that the eye laser, while being devastating for us, also is devastating to any enemies that get caught in the crossfire. The second is the 10 bombs, which also hold a friendly fire property, dealing more than 100 damage on detonation to everything, including the ruin itself. But after some attempts, too many enemies overwhelm our pets. Now, I know I can simply just catch more and add mounds of horrors to the pile, but we're on Generic Mystic, this channel right here, and we promise quality over quantity. So as one final preparation, open up your navigation console, enter -1055444651 in the X, and -5564394441 in the Z, and travel there. Our destination is a Sol Midnight planet holding a plethora of phenomenal items. What we want in particular can be found in this chest. My fellow entities, welcome to the Doom Cannon. Our nice little cannon of doom inflicts the doomed status on the Alt Use button, causing the apply to take a large amount of damage after taking damage. The effect does not apply to the ruin and does not work against the tentonats, but everything else is fair game. With this in place, our pets will only be hit by the weakest of enemies present while also being capable of defeating them upon collision. The only thing I'd say would make this better is to attach health or healing collars to your pets, but its usefulness is dependent on your ability to handle the enemies that spawn below. With every strategy in place, let's slay the heart. To preface this, in all 257 hours of playtime I've had with this game, this challenge run is probably the only time I've had fun playing it. I genuinely despise playing this, despite how great of a concept everything is. With all of that said, I am glad that this is all over. Before you even ask, I am not going to bother with Dreadwing, Shockhopper, Swansong, and the Vault Guardians. I've subjected myself to this turmoil long enough, and I don't want to prolong it any further. Now then, time for the credits I have for this video, and it starts with a wiki page that for once isn't the malevolent one. I'd like to give a huge thanks to the Starbounder site for a trove of information it has shared. Thank you to everyone who contributed for that, it is greatly appreciated.
That is all that needs to be said, but if you want to record something for yourself in the credits part of the video, like plugging your website or something, I wouldn't mind adding that. And this has been Duffy Weber with Hula Cow Studios.
Next up, I want to give thanks to the Reddit account Fargon. They are the one that posted the location of the Doom Cannon roughly 6 years ago as of making this video, and that definitely made the final boss way more enjoyable for me to do. Thank you for the information you have provided to us so many years ago. I'd also like to give thanks to my friend Alpha Bravo. He helped with researching various things with this run, like the status effects, and was very happy to help me. Sincerely, thank you. Finally, thank you to everyone who watched up to this point. I make this stuff for you to watch, and I'm glad that you enjoyed enough to stick around. Thank you. On to the obligatories! If you enjoyed this video, drop a like and leave a comment telling me how much you enjoyed the video, or hey, give constructive criticism. This video was a bit more experimental, and I'd love to see where I can improve. If you enjoy the content that I make, be sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so that you are notified as to when I upload, as I of course prioritize quality over quantity with the videos that I make. Finally, if you want to see this run in its entirety, there will be a playlist in the description that holds every step of the journey, along with me showing the optimization mods that I use so that I'm not losing my freaking mind. I have been Generic Mystic, and one last time, thank you for watching.